Everybody, to the November induction meeting for the Northern Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame. My name is Randy Marsh. I'm the current president. We start every meeting off as a tradition as we turn and we pledge the flag. Will you please stand and pledge the flag? Great inductions today. Before we get started, need to get a few introductions and explanations for what we're all about. As I said, I'm the president. Kenny Shields is the vice president. If you don't know Kenny Shields knows you. Everybody to come up and kiss his ring before the show today. Jack Vinegar is our secretary. He's met him as he came in. He's the one that's been contacting football. Drue graduated from Dayton High School in 1969. He was a 3-year starter on the football team, playing offensive guard and offensive tackle. He was a starter on the only state champion in Dayton football history in 1996. At that time, there was only 2 classes of football, Class A and AA. Drue states that even though he was part of the state championship in 1966, one of the biggest thrills was the 1967 upset of defending state champion Highlands. Drue has also given back to North Kentucky as at the girls softball team in Boone County. Drue Ferguson, please come up. Drue told me he tried refereeing one time about one game and he was done. Microphone's yours, buddy.
All right. Okay. Looks like I'm probably the oldest here, so I had to put mine down on paper. And I hope I can see it in this little really lit. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Coach, for the nomination, and the board selected me for this honor. It truly is humbling to stand here today and accept the induction into the Northern Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame. It's an honor that I will relish the rest of my life. I would also like to congratulate the other inductees today. I'm so proud to have grown up in Dayton and go to a school there. 8 of my 12 years of school were in Dayton, but in the 5th and 6th grades were in southeastern Kentucky, where I was on my first school sports program, basketball team. Thanks to my teammates' support in the 3 sports I played at Dayton: football, basketball, track, and field. Today I'm joining 21 other Dayton High School members of the Hall of Fame. Thanks to many classmates and teachers I was able to be associated with. I owe a deep debt of gratitude to the people who made my life what it is today. I hope I can get through this without choking up. To my loving mom, for the encouragement that she gave me growing up as a kid. She was a single mom, and her only child. She was so caring, supportive, hardworking, and inspiring. A couple of sports stories about my mom. My mom was confined to a tuberculosis hospital for 13 months and in recovery for over another year down in eastern Kentucky. One summer, while she was in recovery, she made and sewed numbers on our shirts for our cousins and neighbors made up backyard all dirt basketball team. Little known fact, UK standout Terry Mills was a participant in that. While in high school, she couldn't make many games because of her work schedule. But the time she did make the basketball games, I could hear her in the stands when I was out on the court. Her southern voice in the bleachers, "Get the ball, you all." Thank goodness it was harder to hear in the football stadium. To my grandparents, aunts, and uncles who looked after me while my mother was recovering. To my high school sweetheart, my best friend, my wife Michelle, for supporting me in high school and our marriage now for 53 years. You're a great mother. You're my rock. It too was an honor to be your husband for these many years. I give a lot of credit to your mom, who kept dropping hints to us to get together in high school. I love you. To my kids, Jenna and Scott, for allowing me to coach them. Sports have shaped our family for over 60 years. Jenna softball, cheerleading, Scott in 3 sports in high school, and football at a college level. We're so proud of you, both of you, being such good humans, your creativity, and being so responsible. You made parenting much easier for us. Thank you for both. To your wonderful spouse, Chris. Chris is here today. And Aaron for being such good parents of our 5 grandchildren who are enjoying sports today too. I want to recognize 2 that came today that I was surprised. They playing hooky. Carson and Clara. Give thanks to a special younger cousin, Dwayne. He is like a brother to me. He watched all my games and was honored to wear my state championship jacket, even though it was 3 times too large for him. I have 2 friends in my life that are no longer with us. Dale King is a lifelong best friend lining up next to me on the green double line. One of the strongest guys I've known. His wife and good friend Alberta is here today. Little known fact here is Alberta was my first real date. John Cruz, my good friend, as he encouraged me to join coaching in the Spartans youth football. After high school, off to college at Eastern Kentucky. I had a goal of being a high school math teacher and football coach. That didn't work out. Instead, I had a counselor that persuaded me that computers were going to be the thing of the future. This was in 1969, 70. I spent 44 years in that field, retiring from the Kroger company. I still had desires to coach someday, some way. I coached Jenna in softball for some 13 years. Isn't it something watching early on girls bring their dolls to practice or games, and then in between innings playing in the dirt? How amazing it is that they got so competitive years later. I coached Scott in Fort Mitchell Spartans football for 5 years until he was age 10. I stayed at the junior level for another 4 years as I wanted him to begin experiencing other coaching. Spartans produced some really good players in the 80s and 90s for the teams of Dixie, Beechwood, Cubcath, and coaches like Jay Lefton, Wayne Slusher, John Wisher, John Cruz, Jim Croman, and Bob Bachkalupo. I think my kids got extra coaching on the way home in the cars, and I think they really liked that. P.S. The cheerleaders were part of our success, and my wife Michelle had a part in coaching that too. On to some other things. A high school coach is a very influential person in life. To name a few that certainly influenced me: Ray King, football; Tom Hood, football, basketball, and track; Tom Daly, football; Frank Lyons, basketball; Ted Williams, basketball; Charlie Highfield, basketball; and Stan Steidel, basketball. Stan was around all the sports, encouraging and giving some extra effort to make you better. Ray King was like a father to me that I never had. He never said it, but I believe that he felt for what I had experienced growing up. He was so compassionate to everyone at Dayton High School. He was loved, and everyone looked up to him. Mr. King was the key. Mr. King was the key to our football team's success, state champs, and 2 other playoff runs. He was the sponsor of the 110% Club of football. It is voted on by players that represents anything of value must be earned. The most demanding coach was Tom Hood. Hood had a way with words. Here's a few of them. I don't want excuses, I want results. You are not hurt, get up. Use your head for something other than a hat rack. As a pulling guard, I could hear him, run and quit dancing through the tulips. Come on, you hoghead. He was my gym teacher in high school too. He always used me first to try new things in class. He said the other members of the class needed a laugh or two. I always compared him to Bobby Knight. Same type of guy. Little known fact about Mr. Hood. He played basketball for UC in the 50s and NIT in the 50s. He was a roommate, NIT was before NCAA stuff. He was a roommate of the Hall of Fame player named Jack Twyman, who I worked for at one time in my career. As I mentioned, I spent 2 years in southeastern Kentucky and was introduced to basketball, 5th and 6th grades. My Uncle George couldn't understand why I wanted to waste my time doing this. He was a hardworking farmer. It even got harder for me to understand, for him to understand as I gained momentum in the junior high and high school in 3 sports. When I visited, I was the same opinion of his. Well, one visit, I said, George, I said, sports is paying off. Ted Williams, a coach and barber, is giving me free haircuts. There you are, George. A couple of closing notes. Basketball was my first love, and I definitely was better in my first 2 years of high school. Little known fact, in JV, I fouled out with all offensive fouls. 4 in the first half. I guess football began crossing over into my play days. I can't hardly see this up here. I became more obsessed with football. I wanted to play college football, which I believe I could have, but my mom was always in the back of my mind. To be close to home, to get a good education, work hard, be successful in life. There you have it, a proud person from a small school in Dayton, Kentucky. This recognition helps solidify my sports career. This recognition will preserve my past to keep it alive for my family and friends and always close to my heart. Thank you. It was all no suits. I said, no, I'm not going. I reminded me of that.